Introduction. Welcome to 5-minute self-discipline exercises. This is fantastic. You've already made a big shift in building your self-discipline just by picking up this book and starting to read it. How would I know? How can I be so confident in you? I know because I've been right where you are now, hoping for something better for myself and my work and for relief from the stress of having too much to do and a seemingly chronic shortage of motivation, energy, and time. I started, just like you might be, with an assortment of issues I needed to deal with. I had ambition, drive, and a desire to do good things, but I also had a lot of things holding me back. I was disorganized and always took on more than I could handle. I didn't know how to say no to others or to myself. I felt anxious and overwhelmed on a daily basis. The good news is I was able to change my ways. My professional training as a psychologist, as well as other major life transitions I went through as an adult, made me examine what was missing in my ways of working and living and learn the specific skills I needed to function with greater clarity, confidence, and calm. That transformation from feeling totally overwhelmed to being personally empowered was the single most powerful change I've ever experienced. That change opened up unbelievably wonderful opportunities in both my personal and professional life, including the chance to share what I now know with you here. In my transition from procrastinating every day to seeing time as my most precious asset, I learned the importance of having self-discipline. For me, self-discipline means being able to coordinate my mind, body, emotions, and actions on purpose. Self-discipline is the ultimate vehicle and secret to achieving success in all areas and arenas. For the past 20+ years, I've been helping other people make similar transitions. Working as a psychologist and then later as the procrastination coach online, I have been able to help support my patients and clients as they discover their own best skills and strategies for change. I teach them how, by making choices and taking action, each of us can bring our wishes into awareness, and then into reality. Watching my patients and clients thrive year after year has deepened my belief that fear is just a signal or a distraction, and that we need not delay ourselves from living boldly because of it. As you've probably already figured out, the journey of finding what it will take to become self-disciplined is a very personal one. It's no longer just about the to-do list items. It's much bigger than that. It's about knowing that you will do what you say and need to do reliably. It's about supporting yourself through fear and uncertainty until you find clarity. It's about knowing that when you're self-disciplined, your decisions and your actions can lead to achieving and attaining everything you want in life. Self-discipline is about tapping into your potential and then getting all the big wins. My intention in writing this book is to show you how to move past your resistance and fear and to reconnect with your energy so you can reach your goals. After reading this book and doing the exercises included, you will be able to design your own path to personal power through self-discipline. In a short time, you will undergo a dramatic personal transformation, just like I did. My confidence in you is high. Now is the time for you to act. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Explore your version of self-discipline. Let's get started on this exploration by taking a look at what self-discipline is all about. In this chapter, you will learn how to build self-discipline habits and how to tailor those habits to fit your goals and needs. Self-discipline does not have to be difficult or unattainable. In fact, you will soon see how it makes perfect sense to develop strong self-discipline habits when you want to be successful and live well. After we cover the basics of self-discipline in this chapter, we will start with our first collection of 5-minute exercises to help you take action right away. What is self-discipline? Self-discipline is the power to harness our thinking, feeling, and actions in a way that is well suited to our goals. It is the ability to guide ourselves toward the best action that we can see, even when there are temptations to move in the other direction. Self-discipline involves many skills, including decision-making, time management, and behavior management. You might have some negative associations attached to the idea of being self-disciplined. You might believe that to become self-disciplined you must be rigid, boring, or even worse, self-punishing. I encourage you to look at self-discipline as something we can all possess and use whenever we need. It actually makes us more flexible, not less. Think of self-discipline as being like a flashlight. It's a good tool to have when you need some light to see more clearly, but you don't need to have it turned on or with you at all times. Having self-discipline does not limit us. It allows us to act freely and to expand greatly. It's not about making things harder for yourself. One of the most common misconceptions about self-discipline is that it requires making things harder for yourself. We believe, mistakenly, that anything that sounds, looks, or works better must also be harder to achieve. We say to ourselves, it'll be too hard or it'll take too long, and then we rule out the possibility of starting right away. We procrastinate instead and miss out on experimenting, learning, and taking action, as well as the rewards that come from those experiences, too. So, the next time you start thinking things are going to be hard, continue moving forward. Remind yourself you can do hard things and that most things, once started, will not be as hard as you originally thought. Self-discipline isn't about making things difficult on purpose. It's about remaining resilient in the face of difficulty and doubt and staying strong whenever you need to. The benefits of self-discipline. The benefits of having self-discipline are both varied and unlimited. Once you possess the power of self-discipline, you can turn an unfavorable situation into something that works in your favor. You can stick with things until you are satisfied with the outcome. You can achieve the visions and dreams you have for yourself. One way of looking at the value of self-discipline is to evaluate the costs of not having it. When we procrastinate, we suffer so many negative consequences. We lose self-confidence. We feel we need to avoid enjoying ourselves and our free time in order to work. We feel like we need to isolate ourselves from others. Procrastination is a huge and unnecessary expenditure of our energy and time, and sometimes our money, too. When we move away from procrastination, we quickly start seeing the benefits that come with greater self-discipline. Instead of overthinking things, we save time by taking action. We feel our self-confidence rise when we see our actions lead to positive change. We expand our social and professional networks each time we connect with others to get things done. We enjoy our work because we're fully engaged with it and it is going well. We think more clearly because we work when we need to, and we relax completely guilt-free when we don't. Soon, you'll see how self-discipline can help you become a success-generating machine. You'll be the source of great new ideas, projects, and personal connections, and you'll create great outcomes, too. You are accountable. One of the core principles of self-discipline is being personally accountable for your actions. When we accept 100% responsibility for our own actions, we assume full responsibility over what we do, how we do it, and how those actions and decisions play out. This may sound daunting at first, but when you really examine this principle, you will realize it means accepting permission to be in control of your own life. How good is that? When you start taking responsibility for your actions, you will experience many shifts. You'll mean what you say, and you'll do what you say for yourself and others. You'll end up feeling more trustworthy, significant, and powerful. Accepting responsibility for your own actions will help you develop more flexibility to stretch and grow in all areas of your life. Doing a lot of little things well. Along your path to self-discipline, you will pick up a variety of different skills, many of which may seem quite small in meaning and impact. Celebrate this. Working through and learning lots of smaller concepts and skills is exactly how you're going to feel confident when you reach for higher, more meaningful aspirations and goals. Each time you learn something new or get through something you feared might not be doable, you get stronger. You become a little more unshakable. You begin to sense you can handle anything that comes your way. Your version of self-discipline. Now it's time to think about what self-discipline means and looks like for you. Start by thinking about the ways you can enhance how your mind and body work on a daily basis. Consider how best to use the skills and resources you have to maximize the results you're aiming for. Whatever you decide, remember this process of developing self-discipline needs to work for you and your goals. You have to find out, and try out, what really works for your mind, personality, pace of life, schedule, energy level, and everything else that makes you who you are. Use the exercises at the end of this chapter to start mapping out your next steps. The exercises will help you think more fully about your current situation and vision for your future. Congratulations on getting started. Now there will be no stopping you. Forming habits. Habits are a great way to channel your energy in the direction of success. Habits are behaviors that can consist of single actions or multiple actions linked in a sequence. Here are 5 core habits that will help you build self-discipline. The habit of planning. The habit of deciding. The habit of simplifying. The habit of taking action regularly. The habit of trusting yourself. Each of these important habits will save you time and energy as you work toward longer-term, sustainable change. If you make a plan, decide which course to commit to, simplify your actions, take action regularly, and trust yourself, you'll dramatically increase the chances of seeing your goal to completion. Use the 5 core habits individually or stack several of them together for greater effectiveness. Set the bar high, but be reasonable with yourself. It's fun to dream of what is possible. What could we be? What could we do? What could we have? We can dream bigger in all 3 areas, as big as we want. When we set bigger goals, we can end up getting bigger results, too. Big goals require big commitment. Be prepared to devote your attention, energy, willpower, and time to working toward your vision. All of the core habits we talked about earlier, planning, deciding, simplifying, acting quickly, and trusting yourself, will be needed. You will also need another habit, the habit of being patient as your actions start to bring you rewards over time. One effective trick for getting bigger goals accomplished is to make everything you can easier for yourself. Make sure you have a positive attitude and remove any distractions or roadblocks before you start taking action. Set big and appealing goals, but also make decisions that will make it easier to reach your end goal. Don't buy the 5-pound bag of chocolate if you're working on cutting down your sugar intake. Choose a smaller option for your snack, and you'll have a path for easier traveling and earlier arrival to your destination. Rewards are important. It is very important to reward yourself for your goal-directed efforts. Rewards don't have to be super complicated. Oftentimes, just doing the work we set out to do feels like a reward in itself. Get in the habit of appreciating what you have done. Be proud of completing what you said you would do. You can arrange more tangible rewards for yourself, too. Spend time making or purchasing something that brings you joy. Exercise or go outdoors with the people and pets you love. Decide which rewards you'd look forward to receiving and then go get them. Great! You've learned the basics of self-discipline. Now, here's a quiz to help you determine where you're starting from on your journey to becoming more self-disciplined. Take this quiz. How disciplined are you? 1. Do you start projects early enough to avoid working at the last minute? Yes __no __. 2. Do you tend to work on your highest priority item first? Yes __no __. 3. Do you feel you take responsibility for your actions? Yes __no __. 4. Do you put your clothes away at night? Yes __no __. 5. Do you have a good sense of how your day is going to go each day? Yes __no __. 6. Do you exercise at least twice a week? Yes __no __. 7. Do you often feel that time is running out? Yes __no __. 8. Do you tend to see the proverbial glass half empty? Yes __no __. 9. Do you often leave things undone? Yes __no __. 10. Do you criticize yourself harshly when you think you have failed? Yes __no __. 11. Do you tend to complain when you feel things aren't going your way? Yes __no __. 12. Do you often find yourself lost in worry or daydreaming? Yes __no __. Scoring. For questions 1 to 6, for every yes answer, add 1 point to your score. For questions 7 to 12, for every no answer, add 1 point to your score. Now add up your total and use the following guide to interpret your score. If your total score is ___________________________________________________________________________________________________________ your relationship with self-discipline likely is 10 to 12. Your ability to manage your time, activities, and overall mood is very good. You structure your day to allow yourself time to get work done while also leaving room for rest and relaxation. 6 to 9. You are aware of deadlines and mindful of what needs to get done. You put effort into your work but sometimes get distracted or off track and can lose focus or direction. You would benefit from strengthening your skills of self-discipline. 0 to 5. You are experiencing the stress of not feeling on top of your time and work. This stress may feel like it is mounting because you do not have consistent strategies to manage your time well. You would benefit greatly from self-discipline development. Exercises to help you construct your version of self-discipline. Choose your priority focus. What is the specific area of development you would like to focus on? Describe the problem or issue you would like to resolve by becoming more self-disciplined. Remove the blocks on the outside. What external barriers need to be removed in order for you to begin working on your priority focus? Some examples of external barriers are physical clutter and unnecessary obligations. List the issues that may be interfering with your progress. Which external barrier can you remove within the next week? If possible, describe one action you can take to start removing that external barrier right away. Remove the blocks from the inside. What internal barriers need to be removed in order for you to focus on your priorities? Some examples of internal barriers are self-doubt and unproductive thought patterns. List the thoughts, feelings, and patterns that may be holding you back. What can you do or say to yourself to remove at least one internal barrier within the next week? Determine how you want to feel. Know what you're becoming more self-disciplined for. Use the prompts below to figure out what feeling you may be seeking the most. What special qualities about yourself do you need to recognize, work on, or reveal? How do you want to feel when you've reached your target goal? Master time management and planning. After setting your priority focus and determining how you want to feel, the next step is to orient yourself toward working on both consistently. The most powerful way to accomplish this is to make sure you manage your time well and have sufficient time to work on your goal. Apply your intention to every action you take. Use the next 5 minutes to review your calendar for the week. See whether you can allocate your time more effectively. Check to make sure you have enough time between appointments and for your efforts to build self-discipline. In addition, commit to the practice of being on time from now on. This is an excellent skill and habit to have, and one that will help you develop rock-solid trust and confidence in yourself. Make a decision. Chances are, at this moment there is at least one decision you haven't yet made. For this exercise, figure out how to resolve the issue or fear that may be stopping you from making up your mind. Map out the decision you have to make and then do your best to arrive at a decision without overthinking or feeling fear or stress. What did you decide to do? Simplify your habits. If you have a habit of overcomplicating things, I want you to know you're not alone. Think of a few ways to simplify your daily habits and ways of working. This exercise will show you how, with just a little forethought, you can change your actions for the better. Identify one area in your life that you can simplify and what you can do to make taking action in that area easier. Practice taking quick action. Given that many of us forget what happened just 2 hours ago, let's practice jumping into action more quickly. It's really not worth our time to worry about how everything could go wrong or how we don't have what it takes to do well. Use the rest of the day to see what happens when you don't hesitate before taking action. Write the email and press send after one quick check for typos. Book your next dentist appointment. Whatever you've got planned, practice acting on those plans more quickly. If you feel anxious while going through this exercise, pause for a few minutes and take some deep, calming breaths. Remind yourself that everything is okay. At the end of the day, write some reflections about how things turned out when you took quick action. Trust yourself more. Self-discipline cannot grow when we do not trust ourselves. Develop greater trust in yourself by taking action every day and learning from the results, both good and not so good. Avoid speaking about yourself in negative terms as this tends to erode your trust in yourself. Speak to yourself with positive words instead. Say these affirmations daily to improve your mindset and trust in yourself. I trust myself and my ideas, and the more I follow through on my intentions, the more success I see. I believe in myself, and I trust my intuition and ability to make good decisions. Become a master. True mastery transcends any particular art. It stems from mastery of oneself, the ability, developed through self-discipline, to be calm, fully aware, and completely in tune with oneself and in the midst of the ever-changing moment. Bruce Lee. Knowing who you are and how you can develop throughout your life is the true benefit of finding self-discipline. Invest in your self-education. Become your own best teacher. Live and learn with great intention. The rewards will be long-lasting. Keep a beginner's mind. Our minds are adaptable and remarkable, but we can weigh ourselves down by thinking we should have known something. Get comfortable learning as you go and being okay not knowing all the things all the time. In which area of work or life do you need to adopt a beginner's mind? Where have you been expecting too much from yourself? Set a reward. Just in case you were planning on skipping this suggestion, I want to remind you that planning rewards for yourself will help you stay motivated to follow through and win. Think about the kind of reward or celebration you would like to have once you've reached your next milestone or goal. Your reward does not have to be big or elaborate, but it should be meaningful and something that you will make happen. What reward do you plan on giving yourself soon? Build a leader's mindset. If you consistently worry about how other people are judging you and your skills, or if you routinely work too much and don't leave time for yourself, you will have difficulty developing a leader's mindset. Take charge, use your resources well, and protect your assets and time, as leaders do. Write down how your behaviors and decisions will change as you adopt a leader's mindset. What assets and resources do you have as a leader? What is your strategy to protect your time as a leader? What is your leader's mindset? Picture your ideal outcome. Take a few deep breaths and then think about the ideal version of what you're aiming to achieve. Stretch your imagination so you can undo any hesitation or resistance holding you back. Use the positive energy you generate from this exercise to dive straight in. Describe your ideal outcome. How will you look and sound when it's realized? What will happen when you achieve your ideal outcome? What will be freed up inside of you? Chapter 2. Declare your goals. A key factor in developing self-discipline is articulating our goals. In this chapter, we'll review how to set up goals that are well-planned and achievable. You will be able to apply these lessons to all of your goals, no matter what you choose to pursue. Priorities. What's important? Selecting a single priority focus lets you start a coherent plan to reach your desired goal. You can train yourself to say yes to any thought, feeling, or action that is in line with sticking to your priority focus and no to any thought, feeling, or action that might pull you away from it. Having a clear priority serves as a buffer against any impulse to procrastinate. Knowing your priority focus will help keep you in the zone mentally, emotionally, and physically. You'll be able to accomplish more in less time as a result. Manageable goals. Set yourself up for success by using the SMART goal framework. This framework will enable you to construct goals that are knowable, seeable, and doable. Stands for specific. Define your goal carefully and with detail so you'll know when you are making progress and getting the relevant activities done. Stands for measurable. Have at least one metric by which you can measure your progress or the attainment of your goal. Stands for achievable. Make your goal something you will be able to accomplish with the energy and resources that you will have access to. Stands for relevant/realistic. Design your goal to be in line with what you want to accomplish overall. You will work with more enthusiasm when you know your efforts will contribute to your larger purpose. Stands for time-based. Set specific dates and times for each of your important goals. Doing so will help keep you on track and accountable in your efforts. When you plan to use your time and energy well, you avoid having to endure unreasonable stress as you work. SMART. Goals help us get work done. They are pragmatic, not personal. Goals are different than values. Our values are those concepts that make our goals worthwhile or important to us personally. Examples of values are honesty, dependability, and responsibility. Create goals that reflect your values and what you wish to achieve. Your goals should not be dependent on other people's involvement or behavior. Rely on your own motivation and effort to accomplish them. Short dash, medium dash, and long-term goals. Our potential is bigger than we can ever fully realize. That's really good news. It means we can take action without having to feel burdened by thoughts of our limitations. Having a mindset based on the idea of unlimited growth will enable you to have multiple goals in play at the same time. For instance, you can have goals for your fitness and health for today, the end of this month, and for the next 6 months. Short-term goals may help you build a solid foundation for future progress, e.g. You plan to keep your office uncluttered in order to meet your larger goal of improving your work productivity and output. Medium-term goals may be the result of succeeding at short-term goals, e.g. You decide to increase the distance of your running workouts after having improved your endurance using shorter stretching/walking/running combinations. They can also be the bridge between short-term and long-term goals, e.g. securing an internship in order to be well prepared for a job after graduating from college. Long-term goals may represent where you want to see yourself in a few years or more. Meeting long-term goals often requires building upon current skills and acquiring new ones, e.g., being able to purchase a home or to change careers. Write it down. Write down your goals and plans. Writing them down is a form of commitment and is a powerful tool for accomplishing them. Research by psychology professor Dr. Gail Matthews at Dominican University of California on goal setting, commitment, and accountability in a sample of 267 professionals showed that those who wrote their goals accomplished significantly more, 42% higher mean goal achievement, than those who left their goals unwritten. So, the next time you think to yourself, "I'll remember," take an extra minute and actually jot your goal down. Writing your goals is like giving yourself an advantage. When we write goals down, we lower our resistance to taking action because we can see our goals instead of relying on only our imagination and memory as guides. Let's not forget what is important to us anymore. Let's tighten up our process for getting things done by writing down our goals. Have a plan. Once you've decided what your goals are and you've written them down, start formulating plans to reach them immediately. By making plans, we create mental maps to guide us through our work. Your plan can consist of different milestones, smaller sections or actions that, when completed, will contribute to the larger goal being fulfilled. When you set smaller milestones to work toward, you can make progress step by step without feeling frustrated or overwhelmed. Set up systems that will save you time going forward. Systems are strategies for handling a series of actions that you need to do frequently or repetitively. For instance, every time you receive a bill, your system could be that you pay it on the spot. Or, every time you receive a bill, your system could be to put it in a designated basket and pay all the accumulated bills every Friday without fail. Exercises for goal setting and goal planning. Make A-S-M-A-R-T goal. Select one of your self-discipline goals and turn it into A-S-M-A-R-T goal now. Describe your specific goal. Describe how your actions will be measurable. Is your goal achievable with the time and resources you have access to? Yes __no __. If you answered no, what needs to change to make your goal possible? Is your goal relevant and realistic? Yes __no __. If you answered no, what can you do to make your goal more aligned with your larger purpose? Set the time-based framework for your goal by noting dates and times here. Write your complete SMRT goal here. Design your short dash, medium dash, and long-term goals. For the SMART goal you created for the first exercise in this chapter or for any other personal project that is important to you, determine what goals you have for the short term, medium term, and long term. As you think about the different time periods, notice the clues your mind may be giving you about how best to proceed. What is your short-term goal? What is your medium-term goal? What is your long-term goal? Develop a system to save time. Spend 5 minutes now to save time going forward. Review the activities you do regularly. Assess where you can save time and energy by having a system to manage those activities more efficiently. 2 examples to get you started are shortening your morning shower by 10 minutes so you can get to work on time reliably and emptying all your waste paper baskets one after the other on the night before trash pickup. Map out at least one system to save time and add a note about why this will be beneficial for you. Pick 3 important tasks. Commit to 3 important tasks at the start of each day and complete all 3 by the end of the day. Doing this exercise daily will help you excel at evaluating what your priority is and what can be accomplished. It will also help you knock a lot of to-dos off your list. List 3 important tasks for today. How did completing your 3 important tasks today make you feel? Trust yourself. Know what matters most to you, and when you are making a decision, ask yourself what will support the things that matter most to you. Let your priorities guide you. Courtney Carver. While planning and declaring your goals, gather all your forces. Trust yourself and the vision of what you want to achieve as you construct and work toward your goals. The powerful energy you generate will propel you to achieve what you set out to do. Prepare your mind and workspace. It's good practice to optimize your chances of succeeding. Prepare your mind and clear your calendar and workspace as best as you can before you start to work. Get rid of all the distractions, errands, and obligations you can before you take on larger goals or projects. You'll enjoy more ease and flexibility of movement when you've prepared yourself in this way. What do you need to clear up and away before you get started? Make a complete list of action items. Practice generating pathways and solutions. See yourself as not only someone who gets things done, but someone who works effectively and efficiently. This means you will aim to use the right strategy to meet your goal, effectiveness, and you will waste as little time or energy as possible, efficiency. Pick one roadblock you're currently facing and brainstorm various ways to overcome it. List your ideas below, and then choose the best option for optimal effectiveness and efficiency. Keep things moving with sticky notes. Use sticky notes as reminders of the individual steps you need to take. Keep them front and center or even on your wall. As you complete each step, remove the corresponding note and feel the reward of being closer to your goal. This exercise comes in handy when you feel overwhelmed by the number of tasks you have to take care of. To get started, grab a stack of sticky notes and jot down to-do list items, 1 task per note. Do this for 5 minutes. When you're done, sort the notes into actionable sequences and start working away. Use your planner for success. Check your planner often, and make sure it accurately reflects your priorities and schedule for meetings, events, and rest. Begin creating a deeper sense of calm for yourself just by being more aware of how you schedule your day. Take 5 minutes to examine your schedule this week to see if you need to reschedule or cancel any appointments or meetings. If you need to carve out extra time for exercise or rest. where you need to schedule time for working on your goal. Bonus tip: create a section in your planner for tracking your daily actions and progress toward your self-discipline goal. Refer to this section at least twice a day to keep yourself accountable. Dedicate more of your time. One powerful indicator of our commitment to becoming self-disciplined is how we allocate our time. As is often said, what we focus on grows. Set aside some time so you can make sure you get the results you want. Do an experiment. Increase the time you spend working on a change, activity, or habit by 30 minutes to an hour a day. Do this for 5 days in a row and then observe any differences in your focus, performance, or results. Which behavior do you plan to devote more time to? How much additional time are you willing to spend daily to work on that behavior? Once you finish your 5-day experiment, review the benefits of dedicating more time to your efforts. Become more flexible. Revisit your SMART goal to see where you might be able to be more flexible. Consider if you can double the size of your goal or cut the time you'll need to complete the goal by half. If what you find suits your needs, adjust your actions accordingly. Which aspect of your SMART goal can you double in size? Which aspect of your SMART goal can you do in half the time? Follow the beginning to end process. Talk yourself through each stage of your project, but also through each individual action. Coach yourself into moving from the beginning to the middle and then to the end of every activity you start. Appreciate each stage and the different energies that you will have to bring to your work as you move through the beginning, middle, and end. Do you have a loose end you need to tie up? Spend a few minutes now to handle that loose end and free your mind from having to think about it. Think and act optimistically. Do away with the "work is always horrible" model. If you believe your work is going to be grueling or torturous, you're not going to want to go near it. Clear your mind and heart of that negative expectation, and start over with a positive attitude. What can you tell yourself about your work or about the projected outcome that would make it more appealing and something you would look forward to doing? Go all in. When we're not excited about our work or when we're doubting how good the results will be, we make the work harder for ourselves. Have your mindset support your efforts so they flow easily, like water in a beautiful, sunlit stream. Repeat these 3 mantras out loud to yourself until you feel that you are all in, I am ready and eager to do what I plan to do. I have the energy, skills, and desire to finish everything I start. I will enjoy what I've created when I'm done. Chapter 3. Get started. Now that you've done a complete review of what you'd like to pursue and have envisioned how you'll make it come to life, it's time to launch into action. Getting started does not need to be a complicated, time-consuming process. The lessons and exercises in this chapter will help you see how you already possess the ability to take on new opportunities without fear or stress. Once you develop your own reliable method for getting started, you'll bypass all doubt and distraction, and you'll feel the enthusiasm for your work start to explode. Why getting started seems so difficult? Getting started can be the most difficult part of any effort. Maybe you've faced some daunting challenges and asked yourself questions like, how do I clear 5 years of accumulated stuff from my garage? How do I change my eating habits for the better? How can I learn to be more comfortable speaking on stage? Everything new can feel overwhelming just because it is new. Things that are unfamiliar often generate anxiety, and many of us are in the habit of trying to escape or to move away from feelings that resemble anxiety. We convince ourselves that anxiety signals danger, and then we prevent ourselves from trying things that are new or uncertain. The good news is you can handle your anxiety about getting started in a healthier, more adaptive way. Learning to manage your anxiety will not only reduce it significantly but also boost your self-confidence. My tip for doing this is to remember that you are both safe and resilient. You are safe because many of the worries you may have now will never come to pass. They are largely constructed from your imagination. In reality you are safe, and you most likely will be safe going forward. In fact, you'll be much better able to handle what happens, and keep yourself safe, when you clear your mind of your imaginary worries and stay grounded in reality. You are resilient because when you need to, you know how to make it through tough situations and times. You have the capacity to be calm, to be in touch with what your instincts are telling you, and to pay attention to what's important. You know how to adapt as needed in the presence of stress and adversity. Importantly, you also know how to rebuild after experiencing challenges and disappointments. The next time you need to get started on something that seems difficult or daunting, start by emboldening yourself. There's no need to terrify yourself about what's to come. Remind yourself that you are safe and resilient so you can move forward with full power. A note about motivation. Motivation is the desire or energy that leads you to get into action. We can be motivated by so many different factors, each one as unique as each of us is as human beings. Motivation, as we all know, can be in abundant supply sometimes and nowhere to be found at other times. One of the most important lessons I've ever learned about motivation is that it is something that can come after we start taking action. Contrary to popular belief, we do not require motivation to begin. Please read that again and let it sink in. We do not require motivation to begin. You do not need to drum up your enthusiasm in order to try that yoga class. You do not need to have any reason at all to start decluttering your home office. You don't need the benefit of an on-ramp to take off. You can just begin. Having motivation can be extremely useful. Motivation helps us apply our energy to see our ideas and wishes take shape. Let's grab hold of it, add our enthusiasm and initiative, and see what we can make happen when we move ahead. Remember, it's little steps. As we learned in Chapter 1, it's important to break big tasks into smaller, more doable steps. That lesson applies to the process of getting started as well. If you're feeling like you are unable to start, shrink the size of the initial step you plan to take. If, for instance, you need to mail a package, but you have mixed feelings about doing so, you can decide the first action step will be to get the package ready to mail. The second step will be to put it by the door, so you remember to take it with you the next time you run errands. By doing these micro steps, you tackle the procrastination and move the package closer to its destination. When you need to break things down into micro steps, don't judge yourself. Self-criticism and self-judgment are never great ways to speed ourselves up, they just drag us down. And we're not going to be slowed down by our own thinking anymore. It's never the perfect time to get started. We've all been in the situation where we've needed to get going on some work or where we've needed to change our habits for the better. We've also all been in the situation where we've said to ourselves, I'm not going to start until I feel the time is right. You don't need the perfect moment to begin. Get in the habit of thinking that any moment would be a good time to start. Start quickly with what you have, and trust you'll have everything you need before you're through. Soon, you'll be happily counting up the hours you saved by not waiting until everything was perfect. Keep a lookout for other objections like, I will start over on Monday. I will get going once I have the energy. I'll focus on myself after the kids are off to college. I need to wait until after the holidays are over. We often wait to be inspired by other things, people, and circumstances. There's no need to wait for a certain day, for other people in your life, or for your energy to cooperate. Let's get more active and inspire ourselves through our own actions. Exercises to help you overcome obstacles and internal objections to getting started. Write your why statement. Clarity is the mother of productivity. When we know why we are working, we can direct our focus, maintain our interest, and reach our goals. When we don't define why we are working or trying to change things, we may lose the feeling of wanting to work soon after we begin. Be specific and bold when defining your why. Answer the following questions to get more clear on your why: What is your purpose? What is motivating and driving your effort? Why is your project important to share with the world? Why is it important to finish it? Write your complete why statement below. Return to it whenever you need a motivation boost. Map out everything you need to do. Just as you would prepare a travel itinerary, noting every reservation needed, list all the action items and essential parts of your project before you get started. Writing this project plan will save you from having free-floating anxiety about what you need to get done and will help you stay focused. Here are some questions you can use. How much time do you expect to devote to your project? What supplies do you need? What is the best environment for you to work in? Is that location or space available? Who needs to know about your plans? Whom might you ask for help? What will signal that your work is complete? Do the easiest thing. Whenever you want to get started, pick the task that seems easiest to complete. This allows you to ease into motion and to break free from that feeling of paralysis that happens when you just can't seem to start. Getting the easiest task done first, and a few others afterward, will put you in a winning mood. If you were to start right now, what would be the easiest action step to take? Bonus tip: keep a list of 5-minute to-do items you can take care of when you find yourself waiting for someone or if you have extra time. Start that list here. Do the hardest thing. When your focus is in full gear or when you feel your motivation is running high, you may decide to handle the largest, most important task on your list first. Even when you don't feel particularly focused or motivated, aiming to complete the most difficult part of your goal first has a lot of advantages. One advantage is that by dealing with the most difficult task first, you give yourself enough time and space to handle it properly. Another advantage is you end up feeling that everything after the difficult part will be easy in comparison. Identify the most difficult or time-consuming part of your goal or project. List the advantages of handling the most difficult or time-consuming part of your goal first. Remember that whether you choose the easiest or the hardest task to start, it's the starting that matters most. Be smart about your choices. Human freedom involves our capacity to pause between the stimulus and response and, in that pause, to choose the one response toward which we wish to throw our weight. The capacity to create ourselves, based upon this freedom, is inseparable from consciousness or self-awareness. Rollo May. We can choose how we respond with our heart, mind, and spirit. We can choose to rise or fall. In making our choices, we shape ourselves. Make every choice count by choosing in the direction of your intended goal. Believe that each mindful decision you make will get you closer to your desired outcome. Remove, or neutralize, negative feelings. Negative feelings such as self-doubt, shame, embarrassment, and vulnerability can destroy our best-laid intentions and plans. Examine your negative feelings up front, before you start working on your goals. When we begin with feeling like we don't know enough or that our work won't be good enough, we effectively limit our chances of being able to produce good work. Practice neutralizing your negative feelings by temporarily ignoring them, replacing them with positive feelings, or challenging their validity. When you learn to remove emotional obstacles, you'll be able to focus better and start your work more quickly. What negative feelings or stories about yourself have been getting in your way? What will you say to yourself in order to stay free from negativity? Channel your desire. Infuse positive emotion into the task in front of you. Turn it into something enticing and appealing. Find the best, most joyful reason to engage with it. If the most positive idea you can come up with is, "I will be free of this when I am done," use that. All that matters here is that you find some point of motivation to begin. Describe all the reasons why you can't wait to get started now. What is the main reason you're looking forward to finishing your goal? Make speed your goal. We sometimes slow ourselves down by thinking things need to be perfect. By trying to attain perfection in our work, we can get lost in the details and feel frazzled and exhausted, too. We can forget that most everything in life is both transient and not so important. So instead of spending your valuable time fretting about whether your font looks good, figure out how you can finish your work faster. The easiest way to do this is to use a timer. Using a timer will immediately put you in the mode of doing actual work, at a quick pace. What project have you been moving a bit too slowly on? Which activity can you speed up and finish more quickly than you had planned? Build the habit of making habits. Getting started is easier when we make it a habit. When we do one action in a structured, consistent way, regardless of how we are feeling, we have a habit. We can make habits to suit our needs, like promising ourselves we will do at least one load of laundry every morning before breakfast. Developing simple habits and routines, which are habits strung together, will create more ease in your day. List 3 actions you will do every day this week to establish new habits. This exercise will show you how you can build habits day by day, so you won't have to feel overwhelmed by the idea of doing everything at once. I will do these 3 things every day this week. Imagine yourself as a superhero. What would you be and do if you weren't limited by time, space, or energy? Just for fun, use the blank space below to write today's date and sketch a picture of yourself as an all-powerful superhero. Include assorted words and images that are uplifting to you and notice how you feel as you continue to sketch. Your drawing will be a great reminder of how you encouraged yourself to see beyond any feelings of resistance or lack. Cancel your self-limiting thoughts. When we dwell on how everything seems impossible, we make it more difficult to think about what we can do. Think about what is possible instead. Make it your mission to look forward to finding answers, solving problems, having breakthroughs, and proving that anything you want is possible to achieve. Write down 3 self-limiting or negative thoughts you are currently struggling with. Then think of 3 positive self-statements to provide a new outlook for yourself. See how your mood lightens as you do this exercise. Practice remaining in this more positive emotional state as often as you can. List 3 of your self-limiting thoughts here. Statements about what is possible for you. Refute your self-limiting thoughts in the process. Make a checklist. If you are planning a complex project or if you have many tasks to take care of, chances are you'll benefit from making a checklist to keep yourself organized. Checklists take lists one notch higher. Checklists add a layer of quality control, as we need to confirm with a check mark that items are done. They also provide the wonderful feeling of reward and accomplishment with every box we check off. Which of your current projects might benefit from adding a checklist? Breathing exercise to release tension. If you're feeling too wound up to begin your work, focus on your breathing. For this exercise, sit upright but relaxed in a chair. Get centered by taking a few breaths in and out. Then place one hand over your stomach and the other hand on your chest. Start to breathe again, but this time breathe in and out using your diaphragm. To breathe with your diaphragm, try to have your stomach area move in and out as you breathe instead of your upper chest area. You can see if you are doing this correctly by checking that the hand over your stomach is the only hand moving as you breathe in and out. Take slow breaths by counting to 4 in your head as you inhale and counting to 4 as you exhale. Repeat 5 times or until you feel more relaxed. You can use this breathing exercise anytime you feel stressed or distracted. Find comfort in knowing you can feel well with just a few breaths. Envision what you really want to do. Make more time for the activities you truly want to do. Time is limited. Let's make good use of it by building the life we want to live. List the things you truly want to do here. Return to these notes when you feel you can't get going. Use your own vision of the future to inspire yourself to take action. Chapter 4. Cultivate Focus. If you're searching for the fastest way to unlock your potential to be self-disciplined, look first at your ability to focus. Without focus, we are susceptible to interruption from anything or anyone who might need our attention. The lessons and exercises in this chapter highlight the importance of protecting, expanding, and maximizing our ability to focus. The importance of focus. In order to achieve our goals, it's best to start with having good focus. We need to know what to focus on and prioritize and what to put aside and ignore. This may sound unachievable to you right now, but trust that you can improve your ability to focus with daily intentional practice. Being focused is essential to many of our thinking processes, including making observations, analyzing what we see, and deciding what to do next. When we are focused, we're able to direct our attention and resist getting sidetracked by self-doubt, interruptions, shiny objects, and other distractions. Make the commitment now to strengthen your focus and self-discipline skills. Imagine how much more organized, effective, and confident you'll be when you do. Eliminate distractions. One of the simplest ways to improve your focus is to reduce the number of distractions around you. Imagine having to choose between focusing on handling one sheet of paper versus a disorganized pile of paper. Choosing the one sheet option is a no-brainer, and that's exactly the point. Arrange your environment so your brain doesn't have to sort through the distractions, excess, or mess. Your focus will kick in naturally. It will be easier to focus because you'll have less to focus on. If you're doubting whether you'll be able to change your environment for the better, I want to reassure you that you absolutely can. Start by making small steps toward changing your habits, and you will begin to see the difference in just a few days. The exercises at the end of this chapter will guide you toward making positive lifestyle changes. Macro versus micro distractions. Let's take a look at two types of distractions, macro distractions and micro distractions. Macro distractions occur when we plan for more activities and events than we have time for. An example might be volunteer work. Volunteering may be richly rewarding and fun, but if you find yourself feeling pressured to accept obligations that don't feel right for you or your schedule, that same work may end up feeling like a big-time distraction and source of frustration. How do you prevent macro distractions from taking all of your free time? Treat your calendar as an active document, interact with it as if it's your assistant or close companion. Refer to it often and make sure you feel comfortable with your decisions about how you're planning to spend your time. Make a commitment to yourself to speak up when you need to protect your time and to keep yourself quiet when you have the impulse to volunteer too much of your time. Micro-distractions are the smaller-scale elements of our day that tempt us to abandon our focus. Our phones and social media are familiar examples of micro-distractions. As tempting as micro-distractions might be, it's actually quite simple to reduce their power. Put your phone in another room or turn it off for an hour. Move to a quiet, work-friendly environment. Tell others that you don't want to be disturbed. Become the boss of the way you work. Instead of feeling like you're defenseless against distraction, you'll end up feeling more empowered to get things done. It's a feeling that you can return to over and over again with great rewards. Start small and work your way up. All of this discussion around strengthening focus may sound daunting, but it's important to note you don't have to be perfect or act perfectly to improve your focus. Focus is built over time, by mindfully choosing how to use and apply your attention. Start to invest your time in practicing what you want to get good at. Research by Rice University, Princeton University, and Michigan State University conducted across different disciplines and professions demonstrated that deliberate, structured practice was a strong predictor of success in many areas of performance. In other words, practice makes us better, and in general, the more we practice, the better we get. Plan your time wisely and practice good focus while you work, and you will start to see improvements in your performance across different areas of your life. Exercises for cultivating focus. Have the end in mind. One of the biggest roadblocks to having good focus is not having a clear sense of where you're headed. Before you start your next project, take a minute to reflect on why you are doing the project in the first place. Ask yourself these questions. What is it you're trying to achieve? What is your motivation for picking this activity over other options? What makes this project important to you? How will this project add meaning to your work, your life, or to the lives of others? When you do this exercise, you will know where you want to be and your work will proceed more smoothly. Take a few minutes to describe how things will look and feel once you've reached your goal. Learn how to make decisions well. During the course of the average day, we have to make multiple decisions. Choosing what to wear, what to eat, and which news articles to read are just a few of the decisions we have to work through. The trick to getting good at making decisions is trusting yourself. When we trust that we are both safe and resilient, we can make decisions based on the knowledge we have and what our intuition or gut indicates. We can cut through the mental and emotional clutter. The second trick to becoming a great decision maker is knowing that choosing a course of action is much more empowering than remaining caught in a cycle of indecision and stress. What decision have you been hesitant to make? Write down all of your thoughts about that decision. Trust yourself as you think things through and then make your decision. Use music for focus. This may sound paradoxical and might not work for you, but having music playing in the background or through your headphones can be a fantastic way to get focused. Music has a way of elevating our spirit and making us feel lighter. That lightness of spirit tends to translate into creative flow. Search online for music for focus, music for writing, or another topic that might be better suited to your task. Adjust the volume, start working, and see how much easier it will be to move forward. Use the space below to note which music helped you stay focused. Show up every day and take action, even if it's messy, sloppy, and imperfect. Each time we take action, we become more courageous. We engage our heart and mind to create a different reality. There's no need to get hyper-focused on the outcome because so often the outcome will take care of itself once we've taken action. Just get started. What are you going to do today so you can avoid not taking action? If you are feeling blocked or afraid to start, what can you do to minimize your resistance? Write down your fears to reduce their hold over you. Treat your time as if every minute matters. What do you do when you are confronted with the realization that your life is finite? And that the way you are spending today really matters in the big scheme of things? You can choose to panic. Or, you can choose to be grateful for the lesson. And you can change. Pamela Slim. Learn to value every minute of your life and then ask yourself, how do I want to make meaning from this moment? You can make tiny actions matter. You can do the occasional, deep dive into what you're working on. Please, don't be afraid to surprise yourself and everyone around you with how far you can go. Evaluate what needs to change in your environment to improve your focus. Is your work or living environment one that will support your efforts to maintain good focus? If you struggle with clutter, or if you feel your environment is not ideal for concentrating, map out your plan to improve the quality of your space. Describe what needs to be changed. Set a date and time to start improving your physical environment. What will your first step be? Gather your tools. Always have an ample supply of what you need to succeed. Being prepared in this way will enable you to work in more of a flow state. It will also spare you from having to run out to the store when you find yourself without an essential item. You'll have the security of knowing that you are all set up before you even start. Which tools do you need? Let go of an old habit or unneeded distraction. Self-discipline requires that our words match our actions and that our actions make sense. Acting in ways that go against our goals does not make sense and tends to only bring conflict and stress. Identify the habits you wish to change and the distractions you want to get rid of here. Which behaviors do you need to change or avoid for better focus? Which distractions do you need to remove for better focus? Design a routine that will guarantee your success. Link a thought, feeling, and behavior together to build a routine for achieving your intended goal. Have your routine written down on sticky notes in different areas, e.g. on your refrigerator and bathroom mirror. Example: I will perform at the recital smoothly, thought, and calmly, feeling, by practicing my piano piece 4 times per week. Behavior. Build your routine. What thought will keep you focused? What feeling will keep you focused? What behavior will keep you focused? Now write your thought-feeling-behavior routine as a complete sentence. Practice your skills. Practice the skills that will help you focus and perform at your best. For instance, if you're trying to improve your track racing times, train more and rehearse how you'll sprint off the starting blocks. Remember to keep a beginner's mind so you can explore everything as if it's new and develop a greater sense of competence as you go. What skills or actions do you need to practice more? What tracking system can you put in place to help you follow through with your practice regimen? Choose a start time and the length of time you're going to work. If your brain is swimming with ideas, worries, or negative self-talk, clear all of that away by focusing just on these 2 questions. What time will I start? How long will I work for? When you focus on these 2 questions, you give yourself the freedom to jump into action and to bypass the stress of the stories inside your head. Pair up with someone who has good focus. Arrange a study or work session with someone who you think has good focus. Pick up some tips for focusing well from your work partner, but make sure to keep your attention trained on your own work. Working, in parallel, with a partner can take the feeling of dread out of having to work, especially for people who enjoy being in the company of others. List the names of 3 people you could choose as work partners. Stop wondering about what other people are thinking about you. When we worry about what other people think about us, we get lost in rumination and our imagination. That distraction interferes with our ability to move forward. At the end of the day, the way other people may judge you is something you cannot control. Don't let what other people think pull you away from the work you want to do. Mindfully redirect your focus away from what other people might be thinking about you. Think about how you would behave if you were assured that everyone you knew would be supportive and your work would be well received. Journal your thoughts here for a few minutes and then transfer that good energy into some form of action. Know when you are on and when you are off. Start to differentiate when you are actively working from when you are not. When you are working, work. When you are relaxing, relax. Having clear boundaries between work and rest periods will help you conserve your energy and improve the quality of your focus in both areas. This exercise is very useful in creating the sense that we have wiggle room or room to breathe. Are you stretching yourself too thin, working, or feeling like you have to work almost all the time? Yes __no __. Create a promise to yourself here about how you will start to give yourself more room to breathe. Chapter 5. Embrace the tough stuff and demolish roadblocks. In this chapter, we will explore how to remain self-disciplined and steady in the pursuit of our goals. As is often the case, it is not our ability to do the work that is in question, it's our ability to see the work through to the end. But you, my friend, are well prepared for the lessons in this chapter. You've already set SMART goals, developed your game plan, and sharpened your focus. Now it's time to do the work. The set of exercises at the end of the chapter will help you power through the tough parts. Some things are just unpleasant. What does your list of not fun tasks include? Cleaning out the fridge? Doing the laundry? Sorting the recycling? We all have not fun tasks, so it's okay to let it all out here. My secret weapon for getting started on tough chores is to do away with any feelings or stories I have about them. For instance, instead of telling myself, I don't have the energy to face writing that essay again, I treat the writing as just another regular to-do list item that requires only a date, time, and place for me to start. By acting as if I have no feelings, positive or negative, about the activity, I let my mind and body efficiently prepare to take action. No drama. No resistance. No complaining. No waste of time or energy. When you come across a task that is particularly difficult or hard to bear, bring in some of the techniques that we've already reviewed, like remembering your priority focus, setting milestone goals, and arranging for appealing rewards. And if you come to a point where you feel like giving up, remind yourself that you can't get through things if you don't go through things. When you make it through the difficult parts of your journey, you'll emerge feeling stronger. Channel your grit. Grit is that presence of mind to stay on the course you've chosen despite difficulty, resistance, and obstacles. You can develop grit over time and from different life experiences, both good and not so good. It's easy to wish that life is perfect and blemish-free. In doing so, however, we don't give enough credit to those low moments in life, the breakups, disappointments, wrong decisions, and failures, for being such great teachers to us. When we adopt a growth mindset and see each moment as an opportunity for advancement and improvement, we can start taking advantage of all of our experiences. We can use our grit to stay on task and to avoid getting discouraged. In essence, we can do away with the feeling that we lose or fail, and we can replace that with the expectation that we will eventually succeed. Keep up momentum and keep yourself accountable. Many people think that in order to be productive or effective, we need to be working all the time. I know I used to think that way. Fortunately for us all, that is just erroneous thinking. What does help us be productive consistently is having a structured way of making progress. Structure can be in the form of a planning tool, a calendar, or a study or work group. When we have structure in place, we don't have to wait for our motivation to kick in or to be in the mood. We don't have to strain to initiate our work, which makes starting or restarting our work much easier. Structure also allows you to measure your progress and create momentum. Momentum is the energy that is unleashed once you get into motion. The combination of your disciplined effort and your momentum will reduce any resistance you have to your work and accelerate your progress. Your overall aim will be to have the experience of being in flow. You might recognize the state of being in flow when your ideas are coming quickly to you or when you feel clear and free from anxiety when making decisions. You'll likely experience feelings of lightness and ease when you're in a flow state. Getting bogged down in worry and what-ifs will take you out of flow. If you start to feel overwhelm, heaviness, or resentment while working, take a break and evaluate what may have interrupted the momentum you were enjoying. When you find you have less time or more stress, you can still keep yourself moving forward. Continue your progress by taking one step at a time, but using smaller steps. For example, you can do the exercise, but with fewer push-ups. Completing these smaller steps is a great way to maintain your momentum toward your goals. You can always check in with yourself and ask, what is my next step? Remember to be patient with yourself. You want to avoid stopping your progress or slipping backward if you can. Stockpile motivation. Make your success inevitable. Make sure you have multiple sources of motivation to rely on when the going gets tough. There are an unlimited number of sources to draw motivation from, such as an affirmation or phrase that keeps you centered and on track toward your goal, or a membership or support group. Take a few minutes to think about what keeps you inspired. Photos of loved ones? Pictures of vacation homes? Have those sources of inspiration within easy view to keep yourself motivated. Don't get discouraged. A great strategy for staying motivated through more difficult efforts, including setbacks and challenges, is to remind yourself that you are someone who can power through. You have trained yourself to overcome those lower moments. You can resist the urge to call off your efforts or to revert to the habits you're trying to break. You know how to coach yourself back into calm, steady, and purposeful action. Exercises for overcoming roadblocks and getting through difficult tasks. Develop your motivation mantra. A motivation mantra is a 1- or 2-line statement that reminds you of your goals, purpose, and direction and why you will not give in to your resistance. Here's an example of what a motivation mantra might sound like. I am committed to completing my project outline by Thursday so I can ask for the job promotion and secure it. Keep the motivation mantra displayed prominently in front of you so you can quickly connect to your purpose. Create your motivation mantra using the framework below. I am committed to, goal, by, deadline, so that I can, purpose. Imagine yourself in the future having completed your goal. Stay focused on your desired future outcome by envisioning it as already having been done. Now turn your attention and energy to moving toward that picture of the future you. Gently push aside any thoughts or feelings that might derail you. What did you need to think to complete your goal? What did you need to do to get there? What did you need to feel to get there? Turn your answers into some action steps that will help orient you in the direction of your imagined future. I will think. I will do. I will feel. Become a master scheduler. Actively protect your time instead of wishing you had more time. Make time to work and leave some room in case you need some extra time. Make time to do things that make you feel happy, energized, and refreshed. Balance work and relaxation and make sure each activity you plan will really fit within the time you allotted. Take 5 minutes to lay out your plan for how the rest of this week will look. Routinely do this exercise of mindfully planning your time. Take a microstep. Oftentimes, we feel burdened by believing we have to conquer all of our work at once. Break down your work into as small a unit as you need to get yourself into action mode. Make the microstep measurable so that at the end of the day you can evaluate your progress. I will take this microstep before the end of today. Completed the microstep when? I will continue to take microsteps until I reach this goal. Refuse to give up. To be gritty is to keep putting one foot in front of the other. To be gritty is to hold fast to an interesting and purposeful goal. To be gritty is to invest, day after week after year, in challenging practice. To be gritty is to fall down 7 times, and rise 8. Angela Lee Duckworth. What would you be capable of if you refused to give up? What could you build if you paid no attention to your worries and doubts? Free yourself from any self-imposed limits. You will free the power you have within you when you do. Say, thank you. Saying, thank you, for the experiences that seem to be getting in your way or causing strain will help you cultivate more clarity in your mind and peace in your heart. If you're feeling angry, worried, or fearful, then sit with those feelings so you can analyze them. Appreciate those negatively charged feelings for how they highlight what might be needed or what should be removed. What have you been fretting about most? What seems to be getting in your way? Now reevaluate what you've written and shift your attitude to gratitude. What good or benefit can you see from the situation you are in? Stop comparing yourself to others. This is one of the most effective productivity tips of all time. That is because it is almost always totally useless to compare ourselves and our work with what other people are doing. What they are doing is for them. What you are doing is for you. Don't confuse the two because doing so is just going to be a huge waste of your time. Let's cut out the comparison and sharpen our focus on our own work instead. Looking at what other people are doing is fine as long as you're admiring what they're doing without having to devalue your own work. To whom are you comparing yourself? Is that comparison helping you move forward in your own work? Yes __no __. If you answered yes, keep moving forward. If you answered no, discard your comparisons and reinvigorate your own efforts. Reset your focus. When we get into the more difficult, complex, or unstructured parts of changing our habits, we can get overwhelmed by distracting thoughts and feelings and boredom. If you're thinking you can't make it through the 4th week of that 5K race training program, think again. Reset your focus. Instead of feeling drained by the effort you've already put in, concentrate on how your only task is to make it through that 4th week of training. I will focus only on this one action step until I complete it successfully. Make a note of the steps you can take to make sure you stay focused, even when difficulty arises. Think about why you want to change your current situation. Sometimes the biggest motivation to act is the most basic, wanting something better or different from your current reality. Transport yourself into the future in which you've successfully changed your situation for the better. Let the picture of your better future motivate you to keep growing and changing. What in your current situation do you want to change? Why is staying in your current situation not viable? How will working on your goal better your life? Change things up. Although the overall goal is to develop our stick-to-itiveness, that doesn't mean we have to do the same exact behaviors over and over again. If you're feeling bored or in need of some new inspiration, change things up. Change the environment you're working in. Change the music. Change the color of your pen and ink. Light a candle. Ask someone to work with you. Brainstorm ways to add variety to your work routine. Use an affirmation to elevate your mood. The power of language to shape the way we feel is immense. Experiment with using affirmations to add inspiration to your efforts. Look up affirmations for and insert the topic you need help with. For example, you can look up affirmations for motivation or affirmations for working out. Look up affirmations for your own project and record some of your favorite ones. Repeat these affirmations to yourself often. Start realizing how much time you really have. Instead of counting the minutes you have wasted, think about how much you have already achieved and how much more you can do with the time you have in front of you. Don't let your fear of time passing constrain you or block your energy. Make good use of the time you have and proceed with a positive outlook. When is the next period of time you plan to use? Find a mentor. Which teacher, author, mentor, or authority figure do you relate to most? Admire most? Learn the most from? Find a real-life mentor to learn from. Consider joining that person's online community or program. Connect with other people who follow your mentor and learn from them too. Who will you turn to when you need some guidance? Chapter 6. Practice self-compassion. Since the way we think about ourselves drives so much of what we do, it is essential that each of us learns self-compassion. When we work with kindness toward ourselves, we create less resistance to taking action and creating change. When we question our ability, talent, or self-worth, we may find it more difficult to find the energy to complete what we start. When you learn to work with a deep sense of love and trust for yourself, you can minimize stress and maximize your sense of personal power. What is self-compassion? Self-compassion is the quality of having kind acceptance of yourself, your choices, personality, and behavior in general, especially when times are tough or when you feel you may have failed. Self-compassion is the foundation upon which good self-discipline is built. When you accept yourself fully, including your perceived weaknesses and faults, you give yourself the benefit of feeling emotionally stable and secure. That sense of stability will provide an extra boost of self-confidence when you might otherwise doubt yourself. Self-compassion is a wonderful habit to possess. Why self-compassion is essential to self-discipline. Without self-compassion, we are like leaves blowing in the wind. We feel down and unhappy when we're under stress, and we feel up and elated when someone pays us a compliment. Our mood shifts every time something new happens or anytime someone gives us feedback. Without self-compassion, we feel the need to seek validation from others constantly in order to protect our positive sense of self. Doing this makes us feel vulnerable because no one is equipped to give us constant validation and praise. Doing this also makes us feel energetically drained because we always feel the need to be on and to perform at our best. If you're interested in improving your self-esteem and saving yourself a lot of stress, have compassion for yourself. Decide once and for all that you are worthy of love, respect, and attention, especially from yourself. Act without fear of what others will think of you, what you do, or how you stack up. If you're struggling with how to have more self-compassion, the exercises in this chapter will help you develop more empathy toward yourself. Have empathy for yourself. When we don't have empathy for ourselves, we can often find ourselves banging our heads against the wall. We keep running up against the not-so-good parts of ourselves, the parts that make us feel embarrassed or ashamed. Having tension or conflict within ourselves and for the work we have to do prevents us from accessing that flow state. We have no acceptance to offer ourselves, and so our only option is to keep fighting and struggling. This is why people who procrastinate can fall into a seemingly endless cycle of not getting things done. The procrastination cycle goes like this. 1. You decide to take on something new, even though you might feel a little nervous about it. 2. You feel an uptick in your anxiety because you're doing something new and because you care about what other people think of you. 3. You start to dig into the project, but you begin to feel uneasy about not knowing exactly how you're going to make it work. 4. You start becoming unfocused and caught up in distracting behaviors and thoughts. 5. You begin to feel the pressure of the deadline that is quickly approaching. 6. You decide to avoid pushing the project forward because you want to protect yourself from being judged. Your conflict and procrastination win, and you end up losing. How can we break the procrastination cycle? Empathy allows you to take on every step of the procrastination cycle and win. Empathy enables you to 1. Understand that all new things tend to generate anxiety. 2. Relax because you know how to minimize your anxiety and you know others think positively about you. 3. Enjoy tackling the parts of new projects that require your ingenuity and creativity. 4. Get back into focus when you occasionally get distracted. 5. Feel good as deadlines approach because you've worked diligently throughout. 6. Wrap up the work well, knowing you've done your best. It's important to have patience with ourselves, especially when we are facing difficult challenges. The way to develop this level of patience is believing that having an open mind and heart is the best way to facilitate movement. Self-compassion exercises to help you achieve the goals you've set. Believe in yourself. Prepare yourself for success by seeing yourself as a success. Continue to take intentional action reliably and responsibly. Be consistent in those words and actions. Accept and forgive yourself for any failures that may happen, and never give up on yourself. Remind yourself what your big goal is. State your commitment to reaching your goal as firmly as you can. Write what you believe will happen when you've achieved your aim. Choose only the thoughts that support you. There's no need to beat yourself up or to absorb negative words from other people. Treat yourself with love and understanding. You will discover that doing so will create an incredible source of power and good energy for you to use. What negative story do you need to stop telling yourself? What do you need to start thinking and saying to support yourself at a higher level? Change your mindset. The next time you feel like you can't finish what you've started, shift your mindset and try again. You can change the way you feel simply by changing the way you describe what's causing you trouble. Instead of using negative words like can't and shouldn't, choose positive, action-oriented words like can and will. Shift your mindset by changing your language. For the rest of the day, replace negative words with positive ones. Negative words to avoid are can't, never, hard, difficult, impossible, and but. Argue for your options, not your limitations, and see how much better your experience will be. Prioritize peace of mind. One way to make good decisions is to figure out which option will bring you greater peace of mind. Avoid leaving things up to chance if you want to have things go the way you'd like. Value your sense of calm and prioritize your peace of mind. What will bring you greater peace of mind? Which loose ends can you tie up? Take your time. Be patient with yourself. Self-growth is tender, it's holy ground. There's no greater investment. Stephen Covey. We can fall into the trap of feeling that in order to do well we need to go. Our personal development often requires we move at a much slower and more deliberate pace. Our efforts to become more self-disciplined make us more aware of what we need to nurture and change. There's no more need to worry that we're moving too slowly because we realize that our pace, when we are fully invested, is exactly the right speed. Release the underlying fear. What is the fear that prevents you from feeling like you deserve to show up and to succeed? Typically, it's the fear that pops up just when you're about to embark on something new or different. It's that fear that tells you to think, to be, or to act small. We all struggle with these kinds of filler fears, so there's no need to be embarrassed about having them. These fears prevent us from being more visible and from having more impact. Use the prompts below to understand what your filler fear is so you can let it go. I worry about seeming like a know-it-all. Yes __no __. I worry my friends won't understand why I want to make big changes in my life. Yes __no __. I worry that my family will suffer if I spend more time outside of the home. Yes __no __. I worry other people will see me as unqualified for the positions I want to fill. Yes __no __. I worry about being ignored or getting rejected if I show up in a way that is more authentically me. Yes __no __. I worry about what will happen if I excel and succeed in my work. Yes __no __. Evaluate your responses to the prompts above and make a commitment to yourself that you will no longer let your fears be bigger than your aspirations. Acknowledge the tension and then let it go. If you have a long-standing habit of speaking critically about yourself or treating yourself harshly, acknowledge that. Every time you have the impulse to get mad at yourself or to judge yourself, recognize that, but see it as an indication of how much you care, not how bad you are. Then let the impulse to criticize yourself stop right there. There is no need to drag yourself down in the name of motivating yourself to do better. We do better when we feel better. Stop tearing yourself down. Start building your confidence up by speaking kindly to yourself and treating yourself well. Repeat this statement 3 times so that it sinks in. I am ready to experience my life to the fullest, and I choose to practice kindness and patience with myself as I go. Get excited. You're in the process of creating new options for yourself. Let yourself get really excited about this. Instead of spending all your energy building new habits, restore your enthusiasm by thinking of the energy you'll have once you've arrived at your goal. Imagine how powerful you will feel when you attain the goal you set. What is it about your intended goal that makes you excited? Start again on your journey to self-discipline with renewed belief in yourself and your upcoming success. Let go of perfectionism. When we strive for perfection, we can set up unrealistic expectations for what we will do. These unrealistic expectations make it seem like we might never achieve a satisfactory outcome, no matter how much we care. This struggle to achieve perfection often prevents us from making progress and wastes a lot of our time. One of the quickest ways to speed up your progress is to release yourself from the grip of perfectionism. What is one way you can reduce your perfectionism? What is the next logical step to take toward completing your goal? Remember to make sure you're setting realistic expectations for yourself. Release your need to have total control. In order to create meaningful change, we need to be willing to experience some messes and failures. We need to be able to tolerate other people's messes and failures, too. Therefore, it's time to get comfortable with the idea of not having total control. Don't worry, though, letting go of your inner control freak does not mean everything is going to fall apart. In fact, it's just the opposite. Being able to accept when things go wrong will enable you to avoid getting stuck so you can continue moving forward. Stay committed to your goal and prioritize action over control. Is your need to feel in control making you feel like you are currently unable to make any progress? What can you take care of right now in order to keep yourself moving forward? Survive the slips. If you slip up or miss a day or two of working on a habit, get right back into the swing of things after the slip. You can develop a process or routine of forgiving yourself after a slip, restating your intentions, and getting started again. Bonus tip: using a tracking sheet can help prevent one small slip from causing you to feel overly frustrated or give up on your goal. Design a tracking sheet now if you have not made one yet. Add a note at the top to remind yourself of what you'll do if you should miss 1 or 2 days of the behavior you are tracking. Make sure you treat yourself with compassion during any period in which you experience a slip. Celebrate the 1%. In our achievement-focused world, sometimes we forget that progress is meaningful and valuable, even when it is small. Nurture your ability to spot the growth and changes you've been making, not just in your work and habits, but also in your attitude and outlook. Make working fun by celebrating every 1% improvement you make. This change in your outlook will create a lovely ripple effect that will help you see your gains more easily in the future. What progress have you been overlooking? What can you do to celebrate what you've achieved? Observe your feelings instead of reacting to them. Use your feelings as guides and clues for what to do instead of messages that indicate how good or bad you are. As you become more compassionate toward yourself, you will inevitably focus less on yourself and more on what you can make happen. When we feel safe and secure about ourselves, we can use our feelings to think things through and make clear decisions. Our feelings can generate great energy for action instead of holding us back. Think about how you can focus more on what your work needs and less on what you need to gain from doing the work. Write a list of your ideas for sharpening your focus here. Believe in your value as a human being. Know that you are inherently of worth and value. No test, project, or achievement could ever come close to reflecting your worth, so don't make the mistake of thinking that anything can. Begin every project with the firm belief that your worth is immense and safe from others' judgment or evaluation. Your belief in yourself will permit you to be fully involved in doing good work. Repeat this affirmation 3 times. I believe in myself, and I respect myself deeply. I am confident I can achieve anything by making choices and decisions as I need, and my self-discipline grows each day. Chapter 7. Finish what you set out to do. Isn't it interesting how, just as you're about to get to the end of a project, new stress and frustration come onto the scene? We can get thrown by thinking our work isn't good enough or by wishing we were more productive. We spin stories about how we will never reach the end point. This can make the final stage of our work feel burdensome. This end phase is where we have to emphatically say, I'm going to finish. This chapter's exercises will teach you how to make it through the rough patches so you can see your efforts to completion. The importance of follow-through. A great way to improve the clarity of our thought and action is to follow through with and to complete the tasks we start. When we leave a task unfinished, our mind stays in a kind of tension with that task even when we've moved on to focusing on other things. This phenomenon is associated with the Zeigarnik effect, named after psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, who in 1927 discovered that research participants who were given tasks, constructing a cardboard box, solving puzzles, etc., remembered details about unfinished tasks approximately twice as well as finished ones. Spending our free time thinking about what we haven't finished is rarely fun or efficient. Develop the habit of working step by step and consistently until your work is completed. You'll learn to sidestep procrastination and satisfy your own desire to see the work done. Another way to get better at following through with our work is getting comfortable with the idea of being successful. Many people admit to having a fear of success. We must see ourselves as deserving success in order to head confidently in that direction. Though success can often bring greater responsibility and a bigger workload, it also strengthens our ability to handle those changes. You will grow as your success grows. Your task now is to hang on tight and trust that you will be okay, and you will be. You are flexible, strong, and resilient. Don't give up, you're almost there. What do you do when you feel like giving up? This is the part of the self-discipline journey where things can go one of two ways. We can persevere despite feelings of frustration and low energy. Or we can decide to surrender to the part of us that doesn't feel good enough to finish. The quickest way to the happier ending here is to have a continuous habit of encouraging yourself. This habit can include as many different activities as you need to keep yourself engaged in working toward your goal. It might include reminding yourself of what the next actionable step is, working with a tracking sheet, playing high-energy music, taking a quick break, or reaching out to someone who can cheer you on for a few minutes. It does not matter how you encourage yourself as much as it matters that you continue to encourage yourself. If you don't have your heart in it, you'll leave room for procrastination. It's when we believe in ourselves that we can overcome procrastination and have the energy to see our efforts through. Avoiding burnout. Burnout is when you find yourself depleted mentally, emotionally, or physically. Burnout can result from having to face a steady stream of incoming demands without breaks or ways to cope with the stress. Burnout can even come when we're doing something we enjoy. In fact, burnout can happen when we start skipping meals or getting less sleep in order to spend more time doing activities we like. Fortunately, there are many ways we can avoid burnout. Perhaps the most important tip is to develop a regular, daily practice. Working at a steady pace helps us avoid having to pull all-nighters and working under pressure up to the very last minute. Another way to prevent burnout is to have realistic expectations for yourself. Understand that you will experience ups and downs in your energy, creativity, and output. Avoid the impulse to push yourself relentlessly to get things done. There's no need to get caught in a productivity trap where you put effort in and get nothing in return. Be kind to yourself at all times and celebrate the progress you're making as you go. Last, it's important to make sure you have adequate leisure time. Regularly give yourself real breaks to keep your mind and body well. Get outside. Nature can be healing and a respite from the work we do indoors. Learning from failure. Another way to keep yourself well while working on your goal is to know that while you may fail, you can transform failure into a positive learning experience. What if you learn to see failure simply as a cue to move ahead in a different way? What if you decided failure was something that just needs to be worked out, rearranged, or reconsidered, and not a sign of weakness or failure in you? When we see failure as something that may happen when we are attempting progress, we no longer have to be afraid of failing. We can look at failure as another chance to try, and as a situation that may hold the answers to the success that's coming. Exercises to inspire you to follow through and avoid burnout. Eliminate fear. Instead of wrangling with your ideas and worrying about which ones are good enough, make a promise that you are not going to torment yourself anymore. Take a deep breath and then let your words and ideas out. To get yourself ready to eliminate the fear you've been struggling with, tell yourself, I am an awesome ______________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ and fill in the blank with the role you are trying to fulfill. For example, tell yourself, I am an awesome writer, and then charge ahead with the last few paragraphs of your book chapter. Repeat this, I am exercise whenever you feel you need to tamp down your fears. Show up. Get your calendar so you can schedule the appointments you've been meaning to make. Connect with that friend who has been on your mind. Carve out time for writing. Create a post-dinner routine for cleaning up and getting set up for the next day. Whatever you want to do and wherever you need to be, show up. Establish your own standard of what a minimum viable amount of effort will be and do at least that amount every single day until your work is done. Tone down the complaining and build that instinct for just showing up and starting. This practice will get you to your goal of self-discipline much faster than negativity will. Design your minimum viable amount of effort now. How will you commit to showing up for yourself and others on a daily basis? Refill the reward jar. When your momentum starts to slow down, it may be time to begin rewarding your efforts again. Once you've done the initial work, you can add rewards for reaching milestone goals, those actions or achievements that need to be completed before the end goal. This will refocus your attention and stimulate your efforts. Create rewards that are special or exciting for you. The rewards can be tangible, like purchasing a new sweater, or intangible, like feeling the joy of keeping to your exercise routine 5 days in a row. List 5 ways you will reward yourself for continuing to make progress. Intensify your gratitude practice. When we appreciate everything that we have to be grateful for, we immediately give ourselves a sense of thankfulness. That state of having gratitude allows us to both feel well and to do well. Gratitude is the perfect mode to be in when we want to create new realities, make things happen, and receive more good feelings and experiences. Follow the prompts below to elevate your own gratitude practice. List 5 things that you are thankful for. Now list 5 things that you will feel thankful for once your goal is completed. Notice how much lighter you feel when you open your mind and heart to feeling more grateful about the opportunities ahead. Take advantage of this lighter energy as you continue forward. Embrace your true potential. The act of discovering who we are will force us to accept that we can go further than we think. Paulo Coelho. The process of developing self-discipline always involves getting to know yourself on a deeper level. You become more acquainted with both your strengths and your weaknesses. Your self-exploration opens up new sources of energy that will permit you to push the limits that once held you back. Explore the breadth and depth of your innate power and creativity. Acknowledge mistakes and move on. We all make mistakes. Don't compound your mistakes by spending time berating yourself for making them. If you've upset someone, apologize quickly. If you forgot about the assignment, address the issue, but then push reset and start working again. The quicker you recover from your mistakes, the more time you'll have to succeed. If you're waiting in limbo after you've done something that went wrong, take 5 minutes now and rectify the situation by preparing an email or text, and K. Acknowledge your understanding of the matter and what went awry. K. Clarify what happened. K. Apologize if you feel you need or want to. K. Describe what you think needs to change and what you intend to do next. Doing this exercise will bring you immediate relief from that feeling that something is hanging over you, and we don't want things hanging over you. Develop a regular exercise routine. Getting regular physical exercise will help you cope with the stresses of daily living. When we invest our time into exercise, we literally and figuratively build our muscle for dealing with weighty matters. We can see how we can make noticeable personal improvements by showing up consistently. Don't have a regular exercise routine? No problem. Take 5 minutes to get started. First, decide if you'd like to exercise indoors or outside. If you'd prefer indoors, go to YouTube and search for a simple 20-minute yoga or stretching segment. If you're heading outside, go for a brisk 20-minute walk. For added entertainment, bring headphones and listen to music, an audiobook, or a podcast. To ensure exercise becomes part of your routine, reserve time for exercise and don't leave whether or not you'll exercise to chance. Remember to congratulate yourself for taking good care of your body, your mind, and your future. Consider the option of a substantial change. Sometimes irritability can be a signal that things need to change. If you're feeling stressed, evaluate what is making you feel out of balance and consider whether those sources of stress can be altered, minimized, or eliminated. Advocate for improvements in your home and work environment that will reduce your overall stress level. Decide what would make your day-to-day activities much easier to do. Open up and clearly communicate your need for some assistance. What has been a persistent source of stress for you? Think of the best way to make the most significant reduction of that stress. How can you or others make that change happen? Take action on this matter as soon as you can. Take a real, uninterrupted break. When you have rest planned in your schedule, take that time to rest. Don't fill your mind with worry. There's no need to feel guilty or ashamed that you are resting. Trust that rest allows you to restore your mind and body, to come up with ideas without putting pressure on yourself, and to avoid burnout. What are some signs that make you recognize you need rest? If you've been noticing signs of burnout lately, take a few minutes now to detach and disconnect yourself from everything that has contributed to that feeling. What do you commit to do, or not do, to eliminate the possibility of burnout? When do you plan to take your next rest break? Get out of your own head. One reason you may be feeling stuck or burned out is because you're caught in a cycle of unproductive thinking. Shift your focus away from yourself and onto your task. Focus on how you can make a contribution. Avoid ruminating about lost opportunities, time wasted, or what you might be doing incorrectly. Take 5 minutes to do these thought exercises. How can you clear your head? How can you get started again? What kind of contribution are you hoping to make? What would your mentor, coach, family member, or friend tell you to do? Tell yourself it's a temporary slowdown. If your willpower feels low and you've been working at a snail's pace, or slower, it may be time to regroup. When your work seems to have ground to a halt, take some time to comfort yourself. Tell yourself that you are in a temporary slowdown period. Your ability to reframe your experience as a temporary situation rather than a failure of effort should protect you from giving in to any desire to surrender or to give up. Take 5 minutes to journal your thoughts and feelings about your current energy levels. List what you have accomplished so far and what you still have to do. How will you be patient while your mind and body rest for a bit? What will you look forward to when you restart? Enjoy being successful at each and every step. Allow yourself to enjoy being successful when finishing tasks, even when you haven't reached the last one yet. Finish a task, note it, celebrate the completion, and enjoy it. Without allowing that moment of joy to enter your heart and mind, you may find yourself short on enthusiasm for heading off to work on your next task. Establish a pattern of getting things done and enjoying the feeling of reward afterward. Get familiar with feeling accomplished and feeling good. You'll build a powerful system of reinforcement and reward for yourself when you do. What wins can you celebrate at this point in your self-discipline development? What thought or feeling might be preventing you from supporting yourself more completely? How can you stay grateful for your efforts? How will you reward yourself? Appreciate the progress. Burnout often comes after we've achieved a hefty portion of what we set out to do. Burnout happens when we have really invested our energy, attention, and time. Let's not look at the fatigue as a lack of willpower, but evidence of it, instead. When you feel the impact of burnout, take time to reflect on how far you've come. Assess your progress. What percentage of your project have you completed so far? List 3 qualities or skills you've had to use to get to this point on your journey. Now that you have looked back at what you've accomplished, write 1 or 2 sentences of encouragement for yourself to use as you finish the project. Seek out support and talk things through. If you are feeling overwhelmed or exhausted, you may benefit from the support of others. Reach out to trusted friends, family members, or co-workers, and consider making an initial appointment to talk to a counselor, advisor, or therapist. If you're feeling a mix of different feelings, or if you're feeling stuck, talk these feelings through with the person you chose to support you. Sometimes just listening to yourself describe the experiences and behavior patterns that have been causing you stress can be clarifying. Addressing your specific areas of difficulty calmly and directly with someone can be a tremendous relief and point of growth. Sometimes all it takes is one meeting or conversation to make sense of what is causing your distress and to map out what you can do next. To whom do you plan to reach out for assistance? What area of conflict do you wish to address? Note the date and time of your planned meeting here. Chapter 8. Stay committed to self-discipline. You've done a great job staying focused on your goals and keeping your momentum and self-discipline high. It's time to look at how you can stay committed to maintaining your self-discipline. Emotionally, reaching this point can feel like a mixed bag, with feelings of accomplishment, pride, satisfaction, relief, and joy all at once. You may be feeling so much because you've had to withstand all kinds of internal and external pressures to make it to this point. Remember when you first picked up this book and maybe had some doubt that you'd ever finish it? Well, you've conquered that feeling of doubt, too. After becoming self-disciplined, you realize you can move past self-doubt, stress, and your feelings in order to get what you want. This is an incredible gift you've given yourself. This final chapter will help you review your gains to see how you can continue to achieve more wins in the future. You've reached your goal, what next? There is a natural arc to achieving goals. There is the initial period where we need to generate our idea and tap into our motivation to start taking action. Then there is a period of laying groundwork, gaining momentum, and tackling issues that need to be addressed. Finally, there is that last push to the end. Upon reflection, you may feel the excitement of having succeeded and the relief of being done. You may also have the experience of reaching your goal and feeling a little disappointed or let down. It can feel anticlimactic. Although we might wish for more fanfare and obvious evidence that life has changed, we need to accept that this is life. Life is a series of meaningful efforts that may enrich us but actually might not change things much at all. This is good, though, because this means each day we have the opportunity to take on life in a new way. What will your next big goal look like now that you know how many opportunities are open to you? Keep trying new things and building new skills. You've proven that you can improve the way you manage your thoughts, feelings, and actions, and you've done away with old habits of doubting yourself. When you get a sense of your own power in this way, there will be no turning back. You will feel like you found the secret to success, and you'll see that it's not hard to sustain. Life will become an open book for you. You will experience life more deeply. You will be more open to pushing the boundaries of what you know and are comfortable with. You'll be interested in cultivating even more good habits for living life well, and because you've developed your self-discipline, you'll pick them up more easily at every turn. Be on the lookout for new experiences, things to try, and skills to build. Each one you master will strengthen your self-esteem and sense of self. It gets easier. Self-discipline definitely involves a lot of work and decisions that often require sacrificing ease and comfort in the short term. The great news is that self-discipline allows us to proceed through life with incredible ease in the long term. How does that happen? It happens because when we are self-disciplined, we make smart decisions about how we use our time. When we do that, we end up having more time to work, but also more time to live. When you're self-disciplined, you can rest easy knowing that you have time to concentrate, time to work on staying fit, time to enjoy your hobbies and friends, and time to plan for the future. Plan out your time and take care of your responsibilities. You'll steer clear of trouble by doing so. Self-discipline gives us the confidence that we can do things, even new things, well. You'll be feeling like a human Swiss Army knife soon, ready to handle challenges at any time. Self-discipline allows us to believe in ourselves, too. When we're focusing on our own plans, we end up focusing much less on the opinions other people might have of us. Our fears of judgment will go way down as we begin to get much more satisfaction and self-esteem from within. We generate good feelings without having to depend on others for rewards, feedback, and validation. You will blossom from the positive feedback you get from yourself and others for doing your work thoroughly and well. This entire self-discipline journey is a gradual but steady process of opening up to the world and to yourself, just as you were meant to do. Exercises for staying committed and always improving. Document your progress. Now that you have succeeded at finishing the first round of your self-discipline journey, it's time to document what you've done. Take pictures or record audio or video of your progress and the end result. For your next adventure, you can document how you feel at the beginning, middle, and end of the process. Take 5 minutes and figure out how you're going to document your progress. Don't skip this exercise because it will help you observe your working process in detail and learn from it. You can start right now by snapping a picture of yourself reading this book or tackling that to-do list item that never seemed to get done. Enjoy telling stories about your transformation using the documentation you'll have. Make a vision board. By now, you know how much self-discipline power you possess. You also know there's more to explore and do. Take a few minutes to imagine what you want to achieve and then create a vision board, a visual compilation of your ideas for your future. Include individual words to capture the feelings you want to feel when you achieve your vision, such as abundant or healthy. Draw pictures of what you're planning to possess down the road. Be totally bold and positive throughout this exercise since there is absolutely nothing holding you back. Make a vision board for your future below. Maximize your mornings. As you continue to develop self-discipline, you'll likely become more interested in ways to save time and energy. You'll probably discover it's the morning that holds the most opportunity for really getting things done. Start each day with gratitude and aim to get your most important work done early in the day. Your mind and body will get in the habit of performing at your command in the morning, and you can enjoy the freedom of knowing you've taken care of business as the day goes on. How can you use your morning hours more effectively? What do you need to do to make sure your mornings are clear for productivity? Is there anything you do in the morning that you can do at another time? Use your willpower and agency. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Maya Angelou. We have a universe of opportunities and options in front of us at all times. Is it overwhelming? It absolutely can be. Can it be endlessly fascinating and thrilling, too? Absolutely, yes. See where your dreams have been wanting you to look, and open up those points of view. Work where you need to do the work. Shift your viewpoint when you need to. Then breathe in the satisfaction of making your dreams come true and discovering firsthand that nothing we can think of is impossible. Enjoy deeper connections with others. With greater self-discipline comes greater presence. Your efforts to improve your habits will make you more attuned not only to yourself but to others as well. If it feels right for you, reach out to people and see how you might be able to connect and collaborate in new, fun, and meaningful ways. Identify some ways you can improve a relationship you're currently in and write down your ideas. Invest more time in activities that inspire and nourish you. Creating, teaching, performing, serving, growing, learning. There are so many options for what you can choose to do next. As your self-confidence gets stronger, so will your ability to choose the most interesting ways to spend your time. Craft your life's work mindfully, you'll feel more empowered as a result. What kinds of activities make you feel energized and inspired? What ways of nurturing and supporting yourself can you try? Ideas include learning emotional freedom techniques that involve tapping or acupressure on the body to help release anxiety and negative emotions, and finding a therapist or coach to work with. Keep learning. One of the best strategies for maintaining your self-discipline is to keep learning every day. You can turn to bibliotherapy, a fun term that describes how books have a way of healing and helping us through life. Follow your curiosity and research your interests. Ask others for recommendations on books to read, courses to enroll in, podcasts to listen to, and recipes to cook. What are some subjects you're interested in learning about? Where can you learn more about these subjects? Expand your comfort zone. You began this process of self-improvement so that you could do and experience more in life. It's time to reap the rewards of your self-discipline. Start to experiment more broadly, pursue a new hobby, volunteer for a leadership position, look for a new work situation, or schedule your dream trip. Since you know how to work at your best, you can leap into new adventures more confidently, knowing that you will land just fine. How do you plan to reap the rewards of your self-discipline? Which big leap will you take next? Maintain the cleanliness of your space. Much of the work of maintaining self-discipline is just that, maintaining the good habits that you've established. Keeping our working and living spaces clean is central to facilitating greater self-discipline. Research has shown that clutter interferes with our brain's ability to focus. Invest in keeping your environment clean and orderly so you can enjoy better focus and well-being. List the areas in your home and workspace that need to be cleaned or decluttered. What are some ways you can improve or upgrade your home and workspace? Break these ideas down into smaller action steps and make a list. What will you do first? What will feel the most rewarding? Examine what might be holding you back. You've made significant progress. You've handled your resistance and fear. As you move on, continue to observe what thoughts, feelings, and behavior patterns tend to get in your way. Do you interrupt your own progress or engage in self-sabotage? Do you suffer from imposter syndrome? Are there ways you are not showing up as strongly as you can? Are you afraid of what success might bring? Take 5 minutes and write about the fears and self-stories that continue to interfere with your performing at your highest level. Don't be afraid to dig deep here. Devise some strategies for dealing with these remaining fears. Start with a blank slate. We are always capable of allowing ourselves the freedom of operating from a clean slate, where the actions and events of the past need not interfere with future plans. Using the clean slate technique allows your mind to bypass any mental or emotional clutter. It is a process of permitting yourself to function in the present moment. Experiment with wiping the slate clean to start over again. Use this technique to restore your sense of balance anytime you feel you're being held back by feelings of regret about the past or anxiety about the future. Think about what you might want to wipe away. Release any uncomfortable feelings or disappointing experiences and move forward with a clean slate. What can you use the clean slate technique for? Celebrate with enthusiasm. Show appreciation for yourself and everyone who has helped you succeed on your path to self-discipline. By celebrating, you will create the foundation for more positive cycles of generating ideas, investing effort, and manifesting success. Plan how you will celebrate achieving the milestone of becoming self-disciplined. Don't be afraid to celebrate in a big way. You can only inspire yourself and others more. Know the power inside you. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. Eddie Robinson. We can create a lot of drama and stress for ourselves sometimes, but when it comes down to it, deep inside ourselves we know what we're made of and what we're capable of achieving. Through your disciplined thoughts and actions, you have opened up a new story for yourself. This story has you as the central character, aware of your potential and in touch with the power you have inside. Since you've learned how to capitalize on your strengths and minimize your fears, you can now recognize your limitless ability to make things happen. A final word. Self-discipline success. Congratulations on finishing this journey. You've shown your commitment to not only becoming more self-disciplined but also living your best life. There are a few important takeaways I want to emphasize here to set you up for everything that comes next. The first is to keep your attention on what matters. You've been granted 3 big gifts: time, space, and energy. Don't ignore those to worry about the little things, like what other people will think and what might possibly go wrong. Stay away from thinking about what might go wrong in general. Create. That is the whole job. You decide what it all will look like: new patterns, new routines, new ways of being. Go create. The second takeaway is to believe in yourself. The biggest lies we labor under are that we are not capable and we are not worthy. Fix those falsehoods as soon as you can. When you find yourself wondering if you should make a change for the better or doubting if you can make it through, ask yourself, what if everything turns out just fine, or even better than fine? Begin with the assumption that all will be okay, including you. Let yourself expand and grow. The last takeaway is to look at all things as an opportunity to become more open. Without self-discipline, we can feel lost, and without structure, and time often gets away from us. We can feel chained to unhelpful habits and procrastination. Becoming self-disciplined corrects that. It is a process of gradual self-improvement. It is the elevation of mood and spirit. It is the opening up of possibility. When we learn how to stick to our plans and deadlines, we also discover how to feel free. There's no room for toxic feelings or habits anymore, just good vibes and great feedback. I've got wonderful news for you. Your efforts to improve your self-discipline habits and mindset will set you up well to handle any challenges and obstacles that may lie ahead. You've minimized all sources of resistance, and in doing so, you've created a system within yourself that generates energy rather than depletes it. All you have to do now is to keep learning how to take advantage of that energy and to achieve new breakthroughs with it. Now it's time for you to enjoy your self-discipline fully. May it bring you all the joy and success in the world.